Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Melissa with TCT Crafts, Designs and Decor, and today we're going to make a beautiful spring floral geranium wreath. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So the inspiration for this design was this beautiful ribbon. We pulled in all the florals and made this beautiful wreath. So I am going to go ahead and drop you down and we're going to get started. Today we are going to make a spring floral wreath and we are working smarter, not harder. So we are starting out with this pre-made geranium wreath. So we have this one in the shop. It is super beautiful just by itself. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? This is just a pretty greenery wreath. But we're going to make it springy. I wanted to make sure I found my hanger so I knew where my top was. So we're going to make this into a spring wreath. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to add a bow to this. A lot of times on these all around floral wreaths, I don't add a bow, but I wanted to play with this new D. Stevens ribbon that we have in the shop. It's so pretty. So I thought we're going to add a bow on this one. So I'm going to get that glued in here. I'm just going to glue around that pipe cleaner where I tied that bow in. Make sure it is not going to go anywhere. See, I'll look at this ribbon. Let me show you a little bit closer. This was our color palette that we're going to be doing for today. This was my inspiration. This beautiful D. Stevens spring floral ribbon. So if you've watched me for a while, a lot of times I would just make simple bows. So when I first started, I'd make the big fancy bows, and I still do on occasion, but I've really found this is more the style that I enjoy. It's just a simple bow using a 1 or 1.5 inch ribbon. So that is what we are using today. All right, let's go in now. We're going to start with some hydrangeas. So we are going to be using these green hydrangeas. These are our soft touch hydrangeas that we have in our shop. You can find all the supplies we're going to be using today on the website. Everything is in stock to my knowledge. So I'm going to just cut these down a little bit. So these are our soft touch. They're very nice, soft hydrangeas, and I actually don't mind the leaves, so we're going to leave the leaves on there. And we're just going to kind of get these evenly spaced. I need to cut it down. I want to just kind of see. I didn't want to cut it too short because I want a little bit of height. I want them sticking above those geraniums just a tiny bit. Let me scoot it down just a little. It's just going to barely be above those geraniums. All right, so I'm going to leave that one there. Let's get another one. Actually, before I glue the rest of these, let me just sort of get my placement on them. Make sure I like where we're going to place them before we commit with the glue. See, I glued that one in too soon, but luckily the glue wasn't all the way dry yet. I can move it. I'll move that one just a little bit further. All right, now I think we're good. So I'm going to hit this with my glue here. Re-glue this one since I pulled it out. Okay, this is going to be a simple design, and let me show you why. Because this bush that we're going to use here does so much work for us. All of our florals are together. So that's the nice thing about buying these floral bushes is while they're a little bit more expensive, all of our florals are put together for us. So we don't have to buy so many individual stems. We're going to cut these. Those have little roses. They have some lilies in here. All kinds of fun stuff. So I'm just going to cut this bush all up. Okay, I have cut this bush all up. And after I cut the flowers, I am left with these little greenery stems. The greenery on this bush is actually very nice. So hang on to these little stems because we might can use them for filler here later if we need to. Or if not for this project, for another project, they make good little filler pieces. Okay, so I'm going to just set that aside. And let's go in first. We have 4 lilies. And let me kind of get an eye on our florals here. We have 5 roses, 3 of those, 3 of those. Okay, so let's actually, instead of our lilies, let's do our roses. So I'm going to go kind of in between our hydrangeas here. I'm not going to glue just yet. Make sure I like the placement on those. Looks good. So now I will glue. And if you saw when I put those stems in, I gave them, I don't know if you noticed, I was giving them sort of a bend up. Get those floral heads a little bit of a bend. So they weren't laying flat on our wreath. So I'm going to get all of these glued in here. Okay, now let's go in with our lilies. Now we only have 4 of these. So I think I want to put 1 by our bow. And that's going to kind of help anchor our bow. Normally I anchor my bow with greenery. We already kind of had all this green, so we did something a little bit different today. Let's see where I want this one. I'm going to scoot this one over just a hair. Now, don't you wonder sometimes where we get these little phrases from? Like we're going to move it over just a hair. What does that actually even mean? Like the size of a hair? I don't know, y'all. Random thoughts. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to glue these. And if you are watching and you want to learn more about silk floral design, wreaths, arrangements, all the things, you want to have access to me to be able to ask questions, post your products and have me take a look and be part of a community of other like-minded individuals. We would love to have you join our private design group. We have a design group called the Designer Circle. You get several private tutorials every month. I go live in there. You can ask questions. We do a monthly challenge, all the things, and it's super fun. So we would love to have you guys join us. You can go to tctcrafts.vip for more information on that. We really do hope that you would come and join us. All right, so now we're going to add these fun little, I don't remember the name of these, but we're going to add these little guys. Now I need to cut the stem down. And we've got 3. We have 3 of these and 3 of the little rose buds. So let me see where I want to add. see where I want to add them. We may end up opening another bush. I'm not really sure just yet. I want to kind of get these in here, and then we'll determine if we're going to do, because we got a couple more flowers we're going to add. So we'll wait till we get those added before we decide if we're going to open another one. So we've got one here, one here. Let's do one over on this side. More so, I think, over here. All right, get those glued in now. I'm going to get these guys glued in before I forget. All right, I think I made it all the way around. Okay, let's move on to our next flower. We are going to add some of these beautiful cosmos. I'm going in with a little bit of the darker pink. So we've got some lighter pink. We've got the lilies have the darker pink on the, they have the darker pink on the inside. These have a little bit of the darker pink on the edges. So we're going to pull in a little bit brighter pink. Now, I'm not a fan of these leaves on the cosmos. I love these little flowers, but just me, I pick the leaves off. So that is just me. You don't have to do that if you like them or you need some extra filler, leave them on there. But I am picky with my leaves, so I take them off. So I'm going to go ahead and cut up this whole bush, and we'll be back. All right, y'all. So I have these cut up. Now we're going to start adding these. I'm going to kind of go some more on the outside. And some of these have little buds and some of them don't. So we're just going to kind of alternate. I'm going to go on the outside, and then I'm going to put one more on the inside. Okay. I'm going to go more on the outside. And then now more on our inside. I'm just going to kind of keep doing that all the way around. Okay, so I have gone all the way around. I've got 3 of these left. So I'm just going to kind of get these added. Just kind of wherever I think looks good, to be honest with you. Thinking one more right up by our bow here would be good. Right there. Y'all, I just saw this tag. I need to get off of here. All right. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of white in here. We're going to go in with our snowball hydrangeas. So I am going to cut up 2 of these, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I've got 2 of these bushes put up, so we're just going to start doing the same thing. Just kind of placing these here and there, kind of alternating. And I'm just turning my wreath as I go. And just going in a circular pattern. So easy peasy, y'all. You guys can do this. And if you do make one, Even if you don't use the pre-made base, if you just green your own base, if you make a floral wreath like this, I would love to see them. Drop them in the comments. If YouTube allows you to drop them in the comments, I don't even know. Can you add pictures? If you can, I'd love to see them. If not, you can post them on our Facebook page, all the places. We love to see, or I say we, I love to see, I'm sure that the rest of the family would love to see them too. But I love to see y'all's designs and what you come up with and what you create. We all have such different styles. Everybody is unique and has their own way of doing things. And so it's always fun to see your take on a design. You can use a different color palette. So if you don't want to use these colors, you could do a brighter, bolder, do brighter colors, you could do oranges, you could do purples. You just, you know, options are endless. Especially with spring, there's so many different options for spring. I love doing spring designs. Playing with all the pretty flowers. Got one more. Let me see. I'm thinking maybe by our bow here. Beautiful. I think it looks so pretty. I'm trying to decide if I want to add more flowers or just leave it with what we got. Not overly done. We have these leaves. So I'm going to look if I see some little holes that might need a little love. And see if I want to tuck in any of these leaves. I do kind of like it because it breaks it up a little bit. I'm going to tuck just a couple of these little leaves in here. Well, we already paid for them, right? We might as well use them. And I just popped that one right there next to our bow. It's just kind of growing out of our bow. Love that. Okay, we pretty much made our way around. I am looking at it and I see a spot sort of in the center here, so I'm going to add that there. And let's do over on this side another little piece. We got one more little piece, and y'all know I do not want to leave this on my table. We do not need more scraps. So let me look and see where I want this one. Right there, I think. Here is our beautiful spring wreath. This gorgeous ribbon. I'm just gonna, on my ribbon tail, or on these tails, I'm just gonna fold it. I think I'm gonna fold it the other way so you can see the little gingham check. There we go. When I hang it up, I can kind of mess with them a little bit and get them purring exactly like we like them. But isn't that beautiful and so easy, you guys? I know you guys can do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little spring tutorial. Until next time, bye y'all.